Welcome back to Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're playing Yu Huang, the Jade Emperor. Now this is a very special video because it's going to be a little unorthodox, right? Today we're in the public test server or the PTS server, and we're trying this guy before he's even released to the public. So what I did, how I structured this video is, first we're going to start talking about his various different attacks, right? And then from there, what I'm going to end up doing is sharing with you an initial build that you can use with him as soon as he goes live on Tuesday. That should work pretty well for you, right? And then I'm also going to go and tell you what attacks I actually decided to maximize first in his abilities, right? What abilities I decided to put all my levels in first. And then what we're going to end up doing is actually going into a live arena with medium bots and putting everything together and seeing how this guy works in the wild. But hey man, is this guy going to be a awesome mage or is he going to be a dud? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is his actual attacks, right? Whether it be his passive or the actual damage they do. So for the Jade Emperor, what he does is when he has 2 levels of attunement, right? So for every 6 ticks of his attunement, I guess, he gets something special, right? So it's almost like a Scylla, I guess, where his attacks actually evolve the more attunement he has. Now the attunement, you have to have at least 6 ticks of his attunement before it converts any of his attacks into something more special than it is. Additionally, converting his basic attack almost like an Obsidian's bow, where when you hit one target it bounces off to other targets. Well, with this one, if you have at least 6 of his attunement marks, if he hits one target, it leaps off to 1 additional target. So you can pretty much hit one and then have a small AoE. Now I can tell you that the range of that jump is not no freaking Zeus lightning leap range by no means. It's actually a pretty short distance, as we're going to see in this demonstration, right? And then his first attack, the Flaming Phoenix, what this does is it actually does like a fiery X that does 3 types of damage, right? So you get your cinder damage, your initial damage, and then you get a burn damage or a dot, right? Damage over time effect if you get hit with this X. I can tell you that this one, if he's attuned, additionally, it actually debuffs the enemy, a small AoE debuff, stripping the enemy of magical protections, right? Now here in the, where you read it, it says that when the cinders meet, they explode in a field of flames that persists for 3 seconds, right? But then when you look at the bottom here, where it's actually explaining, you know, the various different damages based on the build I have, it's telling me that the burn duration is only 2 seconds. So it's pretty much contradicting what is saying in the actual write-up of this, the effects of this actual damage of this attack, right? But something that's even more interesting is when I actually use it on the enemy, as you're going to see here shortly, it actually lasts for about 4 seconds, almost 4.25 seconds. So that's pretty interesting. So I don't know if that is a glitch that they're going to end up changing, and I don't know which one they plan on going with. You know, is it going to be a 4-second dot, a 3-second dot, a 2-second dot? I'm thinking that they probably meant to do a 3-second dot. That something in the codes is just off, but I don't know. We'll see, right? Now his second attack is more like an inline attack. It does almost like a Agni type, you know, flame rush. At least that's what it looks like. Obviously he doesn't go forward, just the actual attack itself. And what you do is you have initial projectile damage, so if you hit a target with that attack, you know, at point, you know, if you connect with it, it does damage. Also that flame that goes behind that projectile, that also does damage. It actually causes a slow to all enemies that it hits, right? And then additionally, you also have a root with that. So that's pretty interesting, man. So you got 2 types of CC with this projectile. You have a slow and a root. And then it has 2 points of damage. You have the point of impact, and then you have the trailing damage, right? So that's pretty interesting. Now his number 3 Celestial Flight, all he does is just picks up and then comes back down, right? So the cool thing about this one is that actually probably can be used as an escape. Now I don't think it cleanses any type of CC. I didn't read anything on here that says it cleanses any type of CC, so I don't know, man. But I can tell you that it does pretty decent damage on landing, and it also gives you a movement speed buff of 15%, which is pretty cool, especially if you're trying to get out of some really sticky situations. And then of course you got the dueling dragons, right, where you have the two dragons that meet at a point of impact that you can set anywhere on the ground. Now I can't tell you that this is a very difficult ult to land, man. I'm still trying to get my head around it, and I've only been playing this guy probably for like 10-15 minutes now, but I can see that this is going to be a very difficult ult to really get the full effect of it. Now it won't be too hard to actually put the circle, you know, over an enemy, over, you know, a group of enemies, whether you have an Ares that goes up with his chains, Daji, you know, or even a Hades that catches somebody, and then just compounding damage by just sticking that, you know, that's the main circle of this ult in there and causing damage, and you'll get both of the damages when the dragons meet, right? That won't be difficult. But what's going to be difficult if you try to do any type of specific shots where you try to drag somebody into that circle, maybe even push them away at times. I found that sometimes it's a little difficult to really get it timed right, because it's kind of like a two-click process. So any type of little bit of lag, I think, is going to be able to affect this ult. It's a very difficult ult to really use. This is probably going to be one of those guys that you're really going to have to play him for a really good bit to really understand, you know, how to exercise various different attacks at their full, especially with that ult, man, especially with that ult. Now one thing that I did find that that I felt comfortable with is pretty much a 2-1 combo, right? Using that 2 to do that initial hit and stun the enemy, and then going in with that 1. The 1 is pretty much going to be the bread and butter, because not only does it have 2 sets of actual initial damage, but then you get a long dot, right, or damage over time. And that damage over time is an AoE damage over time, so it can cause some really nice damage. But yeah, man, those are pretty much all his attacks in a nutshell. Now let's see them in action. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off. I put together a pretty decent build that I want to try out in Arena. So we're going to see if it works out. But just for explanation of his attacks, right? His number 1, as you can see, is a cross type targeter. I've never seen a targeter like this in Smite, so it's something unique. Now you can do it at point blank, or this is about as far as it goes. Now what you want to try to do is time it where the enemy's in the middle, and then you see that Phoenix, that does damage, the circle does damage, and then you have that dot. Now this, don't worry about this guy right here, because I think he's armored less. So we'll try it over here. This is a heavier armored Odin, level 20. So you get caught in that middle, you get those 3 types of damage, and then you get that dot, right? So yeah, and that, as you can see, that dot lasted for a pretty good chunk of change. Let's see that again. You got 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. You see how long it lasted? And when we were kids, man, 1 Mississippi equaled 1 second, right? So this is an easy way to see how to count seconds. So let's try that again. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. As you can see, the dot duration is a lot longer. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see. Now his number 2, if you hold it longer, you can see how the red starts adding up on that little icon that above his head that pretty much channels attunement, right? So each little green jade what you said, jade jade ruby or whatever is a 0.1 attunement, right? So you can count them. For every little jade pebble there is 1 attunement. So you hit it off, boom, you get that initial damage, and then you get that hit. As you can see, that Rada Tahuti works very well with that attack. The thing about this one too is, even if you miss, you still got the blast of that that trail, right? So you got that point of damage. So even if you don't hit the enemy dead on with the actual blast, you can still catch them trying to run through. So that's pretty unique, and I think it's going to cause you to do some really nice damage, especially AoE type damage. Well, let's try that over here. I wonder how much of that can catch. Oh wow, that 2 actually went through numerous foes. So it doesn't stop at the first one. Wow, that is That's pretty significant, man. So it looks like this number 2 projectile actually travels through gods, not just minions, but through gods, and can and does max damage. It does double damage. It does damage going through, and then the initial explosion afterwards from the trail, which is freaking humongous, dude. That is craziness. And then goes into that slow, into that root. So I wonder if the initial hit is a slow, and then the ignite is a root. Dude, that's pretty good. Now his number 3, I mean, it's just he just jumps in the air and then it's almost like getting fluffed up like with a cloud or something, and then just slowly coming down. Something like Mario Brothers, right? You just get that little puff and then you just go new. So you only got a couple seconds before he comes back down on the ground. Now with that said, I don't see anywhere where it says he's any type of CC immune by using that. Maybe I missed it somewhere. I don't know. So we're gonna have to test that in game to see if that does keep him from being immune to any type of CC. I don't think it is though. Another thing about it is it actually does pretty decent damage, to tell you the truth. If you come down and land on somebody, it has, if you're at full attunement, it knocks them up in addition to doing damage. So that could be a pretty good initiator, but more importantly, an escape. Because in addition to being able to do damage, it gives you a 15% movement speed buff. You know what I'm saying? So that could definitely help you to do some escapes here. And then of course you got your ult, right? And your ult targeting is straight line. So you target where you want to put it, and then you drag your damage circle or the point of meeting for the dragons. You put it where you want to do it, and then that's where it hits. But the initial place that you actually stick that targeter is where the first dragon is going to initiate from. And I'm telling you, man, this build, this attack looks like it's going to take some serious practice to really get down. As you can see, you get that first push damage, and then it's supposed to do that meat damage. So I don't know, man. We're going to see that here in Arena here shortly. But yeah, that's pretty much the Jade Emperor in a nutshell. As you can see, he has a very unique kit. Oh, and before I forget, his number 2, right? You hit his number 2. The longer that you let his number 2 charge, the more of those jade pebbles are going to be filled into his attunement medallion there. You can see how you see all those red. So everything that's red right now, as soon as I fire that, should turn green, and that gives you 6 more attunements, right? Boom, so I'm at full attunement. So full attunement on this god is 12. So that means you're going to get 2 special additions, or 2 additions to 2 special attacks. So that means pretty much you do, like, say your 1 is going to use up 6, you use your 2 is going to use another 6, or it's not going to use anything until it has at least 6 to use. Remember, you need 6 to do that additional damage or specialty to your attacks, and you need 6 to actually initiate it, right? So without those 6, you're not going to be able to do that bonus damage from your basic attack. And you can see right there, it goes 1 2 1 2, and it's a very short distance, I think, because if you look over here, these guys are spaced probably about 4 people apart, and it doesn't arc to them. Now Basilius's bow would arc to these guys easily. Zeus's thunderbolt would arc to that guy easily, but this does not. So it shows that it's a very short range arc jump, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that's pretty much his attacks in a nutshell. Now let's see him in action. Okay, so for today's build, what we're going to do is we're going to use Chronos Pendant, Spear of Desolation, Divine Ruin, Staff Meridian, Spear of the Mangus, and Calamitous Rod of Tahuti. I think that this build is going to work out very well for this mage because he's actually a range type mage, right? He's not like some of those other mages where he has to get really close hold, unless you count his number 3 trying to initiate like that. But realistically, his 1 or 2 and his ult are very range type attack, so I think he's going to benefit very well from this build. Additionally, I did something I normally don't do and put that Divine Ruin in the number 3 spot, right? And I purposely did that to have him be able to capitalize on that anti-heal, right? Because that anti-heal is going to keep his enemy from being able to heal or life steal 40%, allowing his dot to do 40% more damage. Because not only does that life steal or that anti-heal protect against, you know, guys that have self heals, life steals, but it also helps against the amount of health that you get per tick just from running around, right, from your regeneration. So having some type of anti-heal when you use a dot type god or a god that has dot type attacks is very important. Additionally, for his abilities, right, what I ended up doing is I filled up his number 1 first, obviously, and filling up his ult as I was clicking through every time it became available. But what I did is I went ahead and maxed out his 1, then I maxed out his 2, and then I went to his 3. I think that having that AoE dot attack is going to be a lot more beneficial than that. Than his 2, and additionally, by doing that, it brought down the cooldown of his 1 to 9 seconds. So he's going to be able to, you know, and that's before any type of cooldown reduction. So at 9 seconds with full cooldown reduction, man, that's going to be a 40% less. So what's 50%? Would be what, 4.5 seconds. So you're probably looking about a 4-second cooldown rate, you know, 4.5-second cooldown rate, maybe even 5, which is going to be outstanding. Now his number 2 has a 13-second cooldown on it, no matter how many levels you put into it. So for me, the benefits just outweigh the cons, and I just decided to go with 1 first. We'll try it out, you know, for some reason. If it doesn't work, you know, in our favor, we can always come back and change it. But I think that this is going to work out for us. So let's go ahead and see this build in action. So here we go with Yu Huang. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on those notifications. We tend to put out videos every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but sometimes we throw out videos throughout the week or stream throughout the week, so make sure you have those notifications turned on so you get notified if we do. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget we have over 500 videos just like this one, our YouTube video library. I'll put a link to that and link to our streaming library in the description of any of our videos and our website, GarzaGaming.com. And you're tired of playing with all these random people, man, come join us on our Discord. We have awesome people from all around the world playing daily on Discord. I also put an invite to that description in any of our videos and our website, GarzaGaming.com. And don't forget, we're now live on Twitch and Facebook Gaming under Garza Gaming Channel. Okay, so here we go with the Jade Emperor, Yu Huang, right? So today we're playing against easy bots in the PTS server. Now I'm going to try to start him with a bracer, right? So Yu Huang, or the Jade Emperor, he is a very interesting mage, man, but I really think that his ult is going to be a pain to learn. But we're going to see how this works out. This is the very first time I'm ever trying them in an arena type environment. Again, keep in mind that these are against medium bots. Medium bots. These aren't real people. Interesting. Let me speed this up. This guy is pretty weak right now. I don't even know why I'm getting this, because I'm playing against bots, but whatever. Alright, let me hit out. Hey, give me. Let's go. Now his number 3 has that movement speed, so that's pretty cool. It puts me to 486 right out of the get-go. Again, don't worry about how much damage we do, how many people we kill. We're playing against bots, right? Medium bots. It's all about just checking out the various different mechanics right now. So I think that like the 2-1 combos is where he's gonna make his money, to tell you the truth. Now right here with the 2, that was interesting. With that 3, I mean, you have that where you can go and jump on top of them, because you get that 15% movement speed buff. Now what I wanted to do, and I shouldn't have attacked her, I wanted to see while I'm up in the air if they can still hit me or not. I'm pretty sure they probably can.
An ally has been slain.
Another thing I want to test out to see if these things will attack through the pillar. Okay, so yeah. So as you saw right there and then, I was still CC'd. But somehow I was still stunned. So that 3 does not get you out of CC. I didn't think it would, but hey, you know, we gotta test everything. Now, can I shoot through walls? Let me see. Let's see if I can shoot through walls. Yes, it does shoot through walls. At least its number 2 shoots through walls.
You have slain an enemy. This is the ultimate culmination of my power. An enemy has been
Good
slain.
deal. Alright, let's see how long his number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that ult lasted way longer than 2 seconds, man. And definitely longer than 3 seconds. So I don't know, man.
I will vanquish all evil from this world.
Alright. Oh, I didn't. His 2 didn't go up. Alright, let me head back before I get killed. Rack me on my tail. Alright. Yeah, I can definitely tell you that this is not going to be the newbie friendly god for sure. It's going to take a little bit of practice, I think. Let's see what we got going, you know. Let's see how that 2-1 combo works out for us.
Killing spree.
Now the dots aren't like overpowered by no means, at least not early game. Alright. Let me get some. Oh, we got. There we go. Now we have the leap.
Double kill. Rampage.
Your time will come.
Triple kill.
Nasty damage, boy. Alright, you see how it's that small AoE, and I do not want to jump into that craziness. But after we do something like that, maybe. Oh, minions, man. As you notice, I turned my UI to the colorblind mode. That's why you see our health bars is blue, not red, and the enemies are yellow, not. I mean, yeah, it was a green for allies, red for the enemy, right? Now it's blue for allies and yellow for the enemy, and that's to help our viewers that have that are colorblind. I actually had somebody in our comments once recently mentioned that he was colorblind, he was having problems really seeing what was going on. So I figured I'd go ahead and change it. To me, I really don't care. It doesn't affect me in any way, especially once I, train my brain that the yellow means enemy. And it's probably going to take a couple weeks, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you're playing a game for multiple years one way, right? And then you switch it to another.
Unstoppable of my power. Away. Double kill.
Boom. Very nice, very nice.
I feel centered.
Alright, what else do we want? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're playing against... Like I said, don't worry about the damage. Don't worry about the kills. We're playing against freaking medium bots. It's all about checking out these different attacks.
An enemy has been slain. Killing spree. An enemy has been
Wow,
slain.
this is nasty, son.
Dragons of the rivers. Obey. All evil. Goodbye. Double kill.
Alright.
An ally has been slain.
Uh-oh. Alright, let's see how that 2-1 combo, let's see how that works. So we should be able to get us stunned with the 1, and then, the 2, and then going with that 1.
An ally has been slain. Tranquility. Burn. This is the ultimate culmination of double kill.
Oosh. That 1-2, boy.
Celestial light. Peace.
Now remember, the longer you hold the 1, the more of those red rubies you're going to get that turns into Jade. So that's definitely going to work in your favor.
Killing spree.
Yeah, that.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Alright.
An enemy has been slain.
Let's see if I can get some more mana. Woo-wee. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think with a little bit of practice, this guy looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm telling you, that it's going to take some practice to really get him down. I think he's going to be very OP early, and then he's going to get nerfed. His one is definitely going to get nerfed. I see his one get nerfed for sure. I think that, heck, it might get changed between now and Tuesday, to tell you the truth, because I'm telling you, he's getting a lot more, I think he's getting a lot more dots than they intended, or the dots lasting a lot longer than they had intended.
This is the culmination of my power.
And get him. Alright.
Center of the Phoenix.
Man, this is insane, son.
An enemy has been slain. Godlike. An enemy has been slain. Minions have double kill.
Oh man. So it does go through minions too. So you got that clear.
An ally has been slain.
Yeah, it looks like the 2-1 combo is what's going to be his bread and butter, to tell you the truth. So he's going to be almost like a Nox, just without having the lockdown. But pretty much same mechanics, 2-1 combo. Use the 2 to get that stun and the initial damage to hold him down, so you can get maximized dot with the 1. And then use your 3 to get the heck out of dodge before they roll up on you.
Surprise!
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Now that's pretty good if they're actually coming in a line like that Arachne did, to use that ult, because it pushes her back. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty good damage right there, boy. Now I don't know, man. I don't know if that cleansed my being drunk or not, because when I went up, it felt like I wasn't staggering anymore. So that was interesting. I have to get him to make. So hopefully he'd CC me again, so I can test that. Okay, let me see if this goes through. Okay, so his 1 and his 2 both go through walls, so that's good to know.
An ally has been slain. The natural balance of the universe.
Yep, and his 3 is also an AoE.
An enemy of the Phoenix.
That's good to know.
Celestial flight. Killing spree.
Alright.
An ally has been slain. Is the ultimate culmination of my journey. An ally has
That's
been
interesting.
slain.
Oh.
An ally has been slain.
Uh-oh. They got me. They got me.
Shut it down.
Alright,
An
alright.
ally has been
Oh
slain.
man, I guess I should have got me a full build, huh? Check out that how that Rodic Tahuti, that Calamus Rod Tahuti works out. Alright, let me get back in there and check that out. I think it's going to work really good, because that Rodic Tahuti, Calamus Rod Tahuti is going to work well with his 2, because that 2 has that 1 second stun that's going to allow that damage to come in. If you can actually connect it, of course.
Minions Champions have reached. An enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy. Cinders burn. An enemy
No.
has been slain.
If you get CC, that 3 is not going to break at his CC. I just tried right there, so that theory was proven not to be true.
An enemy has been slain.
Wow, that's just nasty damage, son. That's just nasty damage.
An ally has
Yeah,
been
we're
slain.
getting lethal
An
too.
enemy has been slain.
Yeah, man, but I tell you what, he's definitely interesting. He's definitely very interesting. I can
Killing
tell you,
spree.
just like I anticipated, that 4 is going to be very difficult to use. But yeah, it looks like he's going to take some practice. The 2-1 combo is pretty much where it's at. And again, man, don't worry about how many kills we had or whatever. But I am kind of interested to see, freaking habit, how much stats came out of that. 31,000 player damage. That's actually not bad, but like I said, we're playing against bots, so until we see it in real life, take that with a grain of salt, right? But this build does come out with 635 magic item power, 12 life steal, 36 flat pen. Now keep in mind, I'm on the PTS server, so all the freaking nerfs and everything should already have taken hold. In fact, let me look at the route to Hootie. Well, yeah, it's at 120 instead of 140. So this is with all the nerfs. So we still, with all the nerfs, so got 635 magic item power, 12 life steal, 36 flat pen, 20 percentage pin, and full cooldown reduction. So yeah, man, I think that our mage builds are still good. I think we're still good to go, because as you can see, even though it's in different orders, this is pretty much the main mage build I use for a lot of my mages. So I think we should be okay going into this buff. But anyway, man, that's Yu Huang, the Jade Emperor. Hey, man, are you anticipating this Jade Emperor? Are you really looking forward to playing them? And if so, man, hey, just give me your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about it? By now, you've seen, the reveal video. You've seen this video, man. Tell me, what do you think are going to be his pros? What are going to be his cons? I'm really interested in your feedback. What your thoughts on this guy? Again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, man. We're closing in on that goal of 10,000 subs by the end of the year. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm Dark Garza, your OG on the GC. See you next time.